I know you supported the idea of no tax on tips, but I saw your post on X yesterday. What's good is that for workers of Trump's failures, you say, have hurt our tourism economy so much that workers are not getting tips. Is that true?
So let me say a couple of things, and thank you. It's great to join both of you. The no tax on tips would be beneficial for so many workers in Nevada, and that's why Senator Rosen and the delegation, we actually passed bipartisan legislation to make it permanent. Unfortunately, that's not what Donald Trump signed and put in his big, beautiful bill. And the no tax on tips that he is touting is not permanent. It has a sunset. The challenge that he's going to find in Nevada is costs are up. It's not just what you talked about, gas prices. Right now in Las Vegas are about $5, but in Reno they're $5.26. We are seeing a year-over-year increase in groceries. Families are paying about $300 more in groceries. And then, yes, when you add his tariffs, which have impacted our tourism in this country, including in Nevada, tourism is down 6% in the state of Nevada. That's our main revenue generator for the state. It's about jobs. It creates economy and revenue for the state of Nevada. And I am hearing from so many workers who are either losing their jobs, businesses are closing because there's no tourism happening. When you have the rhetoric of this administration attacking Canada, a lot of our tourism was coming from Canada. That is down. And then you add the tariffs. American families on average have paid almost $1,700 for those tariffs that Donald Trump talks about. So when you add all of those high costs and those energy costs up, there's less money that families, particularly in Nevada, but really across the country, are going to have in their pocket.
Well, and when we consider the various demographics in the state of Nevada, I don't have to tell you, Senator, as you represent them, that there is obviously a very large Latino constituency. And whether it's due to economic policies or the policies the president has pursued when it comes to immigration and ICE enforcement specifically, there's obviously an ongoing conversation about him losing support within Latinos who turn toward him in 2024. What are you hearing about that on the ground in Nevada? And does that necessarily mean that they are turning back to your party?
Well, they're struggling. So most people don't know, a third of the population, there's 3 million people in Nevada, a third of that population are Latinos. That's my family, right? That's how I grew up in southern Nevada. And their issues are the same. It's the affordability. It really is. It is about groceries. It's about being able to afford a home right now in Nevada. And as I've said, costs are so high, including for new homes. It is groceries, it's education, it's energy, it's all of the above. Our Latino families are feeling the same thing. And remember, a lot of the Latinos in Nevada are also entrepreneurs, they're business owners. And they're concerned about trying to keep their businesses open when you have these high tariffs. These blanket tariffs actually impact their businesses as well. So it's that, along with the oppressive and over-aggressive immigration that we have seen across the country. Many in Nevada support strong borders. I support strong borders. We want to protect and ensure that we are not allowing fentanyl to get in or human trafficking or drug trafficking. And we want an orderly immigration process that treats people with dignity. But that's not happening in Nevada and across the country. Donald Trump promised he was going to go after the most violent individuals. He is not. He is not. And so the community is seeing that as well. And so they are rightfully so upset with this administration when they knew Donald Trump, when he was campaigning, particularly in Nevada, said the first thing he said is, day one, when I get into my administration, I'm going to lower costs for you. I'm going to focus on making sure we can lower costs and put more money in your pocket. And he has done just the opposite. And his policies are not beneficial for people in Nevada. They're actually harming Nevadans.
You mentioned a downturn, Senator, in tourism in the state of Nevada. Las Vegas specifically saw visitation fall 7.5% in 2025 to about 38.5 million people, which is the lowest since 2021. And I think we all remember what was going on in the world then. With gas prices where they are now and the prospect of a ceasefire, according to reporting today, could be extended by weeks or months if that's needed to find an actual peace deal with Iran. How much worse could this get in Las Vegas and in your state?
Yeah, and Joe, you've touched on this. Most people don't realize during the height of COVID, which was so devastating for Nevada because we are a tourism-based economy, we're a service industry, we were the hardest hit. It was the first time that I'd ever seen the Las Vegas Strip dark. I've never seen that, and I'm third generation. from Southern Nevada. And so the concern for many of us is getting out of that and making sure that we can grow our economy again and grow jobs. And now it seems like we're going backwards because of the policies of this administration. So rightfully so, as I've said, when I just came from home, I was there for 2 weeks getting around my state, both north and south. I was hearing from so many people, there's a concern. And it's not just, and please, this is not a partisan issue. This is an issue for so many people in Nevada that are struggling under the high costs that this administration is imposing because of their bad policies. They feel it, they see it, and they know it. So no matter how many times that Donald Trump's going to come and try to tout some positive thing, they're going to look to answers on the other challenges that they're facing, that he is causing in Nevada. And he needs to answer those questions on how he's going to solve these problems for so many Nevadans and really make their lives better, and not make it harder for them to own a home or just even get to their jobs by being able to put gas in their cars or afford the grocery to put on their table for their kids.
Well, obviously, one of the challenges you speak of that the administration is currently dealing with is the ongoing conflict with Iran. And I'd like to ask you about a pair of votes we saw in the Senate yesterday, a war powers resolution, which you voted for to restrict the president's ability to maintain that activity in the Middle East, but also a resolution you voted against to restrict weapon sales to Israel. There were 40 members of your party who voted for that resolution. It was only you and 6 other colleagues who voted against it. How do you reconcile those two positions? And what's the difference between you and your other 6 colleagues and the rest of the Democratic Party in the Senate right now?
Well, I can tell you my position. Of course, I don't support Donald Trump's war of choice here. The Wars Power Resolution, rightfully so, was to mandate and require Donald Trump to do what he always should do under the law, is to come to Congress when he wants to get us into a war, a foreign war or a conflict, and he's refused to do that. So that was the United States Congress rightfully trying to exert its power over Donald Trump that we have under the Constitution. I'd rather us spend the trillions of dollars not in a foreign war with Iran, but on the issues that we're talking about. How do we lower costs for families? How do we address the affordability issue for Americans, not just Nevadans, but Americans across the country? That's one piece of it. The other piece, I look at them 2 different things. Allies for us are essential, and we need to continue to support our allies because we want their support. Israel has been an incredible ally for this country. And the people of Israel deserve that support. Listen, I don't support Donald Trump, but I want our allies to support, or the policies of Donald Trump, but I want our allies to support the United States and not conflate our positions. I don't think Israelis want the same thing. I think they want us to be able to continue to support them. And let me just say one final thing. Hezbollah has been shooting rockets, missiles, and rockets into Israel. There's been over 3,500 missiles and rockets sent by Hezbollah into Israel in the last month and a half. Israel still has to defend itself. They're surrounded by hostile neighbors. We are not in the United States. And so there is a difference between the two, and I do believe that Israeli people, just like Americans, want to know their allies are still supportive, even though they may disagree with their government or the leadership in their government. I think that is just as important for us to signal.